Hola, hola, hola. Okay. Hi guys, it's me Luis, your favorite Spanish teacher, and today we are going to continue with our bootcamp. So we are going to be talking about present tense, okay? We are going to be covering like different topics like the everyday actions, irregular verbs, everyday regular verbs, some phrases that you can use, and also we are going to be talking about what we're going to be covering for the last 2 days. Okay, remember guys that this is the last week about of or from this bootcamp, where basically like we cover all these like basic things or basic like hacks in order for you to take your Spanish to the next level. In week 1 we cover pronunciation, important things that you need to know, things that don't exist in Spanish that exist in English. Week 2 was about basic questions like how to introduce yourself, how to talk about like different topics, how to talk about like your life, how to talk about your hobbies. Week 3 was more like structuring like longer sentences, taking into account like these basic ones that we covered the previous week. And finally guys, this final week is about tenses in Spanish. Okay, we are going to be covering present, future, and past 1 or past indefinite, because remember in Spanish we have 2 kind of past. So these are the 3 tenses that we're gonna be covering on this week. Okay, so remember guys that you can go to adamethod.com and you can book your free welcome session. Remember guys that this is for limited time, and also you can find more information about me, what my students say about my method, what makes my method different to like a regular one. And also remember that if you book this welcome session with me, by the end of the class or by the end of the session, you are gonna have a customized 1 week study program. Okay, so this is all paid by me, and also this is a one-on-one session where I'm gonna be providing you like more help in order to take your Spanish to the next level. We are gonna be talking about like your goals, what you want to improve about your Spanish. I'm gonna give you my feedback as a coach. Remember guys that I have almost 10 years of experience as a coach, as a Spanish coach. So yes, so now we are gonna start guys. Give me a second. We are gonna start and we are gonna talk a little bit about we are going to be talking a little bit more about what other topics we are going to be covering this week, like more in detail. Okay, so you are going to be seeing like the topics for this week. So now I'm going to share my screen. Give me a second. Okay, give me a moment. Okay, so as you can see here guys, this is pretty much what we are going to be covering this week. As you can see here, we have give me a second, we have guys part 1. Remember part 1 is going to be today, part 2 is going to be on Wednesday, and part 3 is going to be on Friday. Okay, remember guys that the live is 8 p.m. Colombian time, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. This is the final week. So today guys, as you can see here, we are going to be talking about present, and we are going to be talking about regular verbs, everyday irregular verbs. If you want to know more about what is the difference between a regular and irregular verb, go ahead and check the previous live videos here on my YouTube channel. And then we have make sentences. Okay, so let's start guys. So as you can see here guys, we have part A or parte A, and we have regular verbs. Okay, so it is important guys to keep in mind that when we're talking about irregular verbs and this verb is for yo, always is gonna be O ending, okay? Trabajo, estudio. Give me a second, guys. Trabajo. Let me make this thicker. Yeah. Trabajo, estudio, hablo, cocino, trabajo. So always, guys, when we are talking about yo form, it's gonna be O ending, okay? Trabajo, vivo, estudio, cocino, camino. I don't know, another one can be like to drive, like manejo. But because remember, guys, that when we're talking about to form, it's gonna be with S ending, okay? So it's gonna be, guys, like tú cocinas, tú comes, tú estudias, tú trabajas. So it's important to keep in mind, guys, that when we're talking about to conjugation, always is the S at the end, okay? Cocinas, comes, trabajas. And remember, guys, that when we're talking about like third person, like él or ella, I call this one like the no ending rule, because when we're talking about this verb, guys, it's pretty much like you get rid of the S, you know what I mean? Because it's like cocina, come, estudia. Give me a second. Give me a second. Let's do this. Estudia, trabaja. Okay? So, when I'm talking about to, guys, always is the S at the end. Okay? Always the S at the end. But when we're talking about él, ella, it's like no ending. You see? It's like cocina, come, estudia, trabaja. It's like no ending in this part. No ending, no ending, no ending. And this is important, guys, because in this way you are going to memorize better how to like classify or identify how the different conjugation works, at least for yo, tú, él, ella, okay? So, keeping this idea in mind, guys, now we are going to be talking about like food and learning verbs, okay? So, as you can see here, guys, we have como, again, O ending because it's yo, bebo, aprendo, leo, okay? So, yo como vegetales, por ejemplo. Oops. Yo como vegetales, ¿sí? O, por ejemplo, I can say something like, yo no cocino, like, I don't cook el lunes. Like, yo no cocino el lunes, ¿sí? So, this is something, guys, that you can start playing with in terms of, like, structuring your own sentences. Por ejemplo, yo estudio, if I want to use this one, yo estudio en la mañana, pero no estudio en la noche. You see? So just by taking like this regular and super useful verb, you can start like building sentences, okay? So now, guys, we have the final part, which is life at home. And we have vivo, I live, escribo, abro, recibo. Por ejemplo, en la mañana abro la puerta, I open the door. Or I can say something like, en la mañana abro las ventanas. In the morning, I open the windows. Y en la tarde recibo paquetes. And in the noon, I receive packages. Okay? So, like I said, guys, my method is help you to build your own sentences with these very basic verbs. Day-to-day verbs, guys, that you can use to change them and like use them to talk about you, to talk about your life, to talk about your routine, but keeping in mind that these verbs are very, very useful, okay? So, now, guys, let's go with the everyday regular verbs. So, as you can see here, we have the most basic ones. Remember, we covered these ones deeper in first week. So, we have soy, and the last one is gonna be estoy. Then we have tengo, I have, voy, ¿ok? Por ejemplo, soy Luis, estoy en Colombia, tengo un hermano menor, I have a younger brother. Y voy a, no sé, Peru. I go to Peru, okay? So this one changed, guys, because when we're talking about tú, it's gonna change a little, okay? So with tú, it's gonna be, yes, you can see here, with tú, guys, it's gonna be like tú eres, tú estás, tú tienes, okay? And the last one is gonna be like tú vas. So, yo voy, tú vas, yo tengo, tú tienes, yo estoy, tú estás, yo soy, tú eres, okay? And when we're talking about like third person, guys, it's gonna be, oh my god, give me a second, I don't know what happened. Okay, yes. When we're talking about third person, guys, it's gonna be, so es, está, tiene, va, okay? Like, yo voy, tú vas, ella va. Yo tengo, tú tienes, ella tiene. Yo soy, tú eres, ella es. Por ejemplo, yo soy Luis, tú eres Carlos, ella es Laura. Él es José, tú eres Pedro, yo soy Esteban, por ejemplo. And this is something, guys, that you can start like doing your own exercise in your head, in your mind. Because in this way, like I said, guys, it's like you getting used to like how different they are, okay? So now, guys, let's go with things I do, okay? So now I have hago. Remember, guys, that hago in Spanish is like I do or I make. Digo, I say. Veo, I see or I watch. Y oigo, which is I hear. I call these ones, like the first one, the second one, and the last one, the yogo group verbs, because it's like yo and then go ending for the verb. Like yo hago, yo digo, yo oigo, yo tengo. And in this way, guys, also like if you can associate like something that these conjugation have in common, it's gonna be easier for you to be like, oh, this one is like this, or that one is like that, or well, this one sounds weird. Maybe I'm not saying like in the right way, okay? So this one, guys, is gonna change because if I'm talking about tú, it's gonna be tú. Oh my god, give me a second. Okay, yes, it's gonna be tú haces. Okay, guys, give me a second. I don't know what's going on. No, it's not this part. What's going on? It's this one. Yeah. So it's gonna be, guys, like yo hago, tú haces, él, ella hace. Digo, dices, dice. Veo, ves, ve. Oigo, oyes. This one is very regular. Oye. Okay? So, yo hago, let me see, yes. Yo hago, tú haces, él, ella hace. Yo digo, tú dices, él, ella dice. Yo veo, tú ves, él, ella ve. Yo oigo, tú oyes, él, ella oye. Yo oigo música, tú oyes la radio. Ella oye, I don't know, la canción, por ejemplo. Okay? So now, guys, let's go with part 3. And in this case, we are going to be talking about things I want or things I can do, okay? Or I am able to do. So the first one, guys, is going to be quiero, like I want. Remember, guys, that we previously talked about like how when we have two verbs together work in Spanish, like I need to do something, I want to do something, I need to do something, I want to do something, I can to do something. Remember, basically, guys, that we only focus on the first verb. If you want to know more of this in detail, go ahead and check the previous videos, okay? So quiero comer, and then, guys, if I'm talking about like tú, it's gonna be quieres. So tú quieres, él, ella quiere. Puedo, I can, or I am able to is gonna be like puedes. Remember, guys, always keeping the S at the end, no matter if we're talking about an irregular verb. And then for third person is gonna be like puede, okay? The next one, guys, I know, sé, is gonna be sabes, and then sabe. Yo sé, tú sabes, ella sabe. Yo sé la verdad, I know the truth. Tú sabes la verdad, ella sabe la verdad. Vengo, I come, is gonna be like vengo. For to form is gonna be vienes, and then it's gonna be viene, okay? So as you can see here, guys, no matter if we're talking about like an irregular verb with to, we always keep the S. Quieres, puedes, sabes, vienes, oyes, ves, dices, haces, okay? So it is important, guys, that you can like play with your Spanish, and instead of just learning how to conjugate one verb with yo, try to make like this triangle, like yo, tú, él, ella, yo, tú, él, ella. Hacer, okay, something like this, guys. Por ejemplo, let's see, something like, let me change the color, let's do it in black, something like this. So the verb here is gonna be tener. So yo tengo, tú tienes, él, ella tiene. So this is something that you can do, guys, with all the verbs you learn, because in this way, just by using like one single verb, you are gonna know how to use this verb with 3 different subjects, like yo, tú, él, ella. Por ejemplo, let's change this one. Let's do, oh my god, give me a second. Let's do, por ejemplo, I don't know, give me a second. Por ejemplo, guys, a very useful one. Let's see. Comer. Comer. So yo como, tú comes, usted, él, ella come. You see? So this is what I was saying about the triangle. Like, yo como, tú comes, él, ella come. Because so far, guys, I don't want you to feel like overwhelmed, because I don't want you to focus on all the pronouns like yo, tú, usted, él, ella, nosotros, ustedes, ellos, and so on, because those ones are not like super useful now. Remember, this is just like the beginner lesson. I mean, the beginner bootcamp, okay? So this is something that you can do, guys, okay? Try to use like this triangle game in order for you to, just by using one verb, you are gonna learn how to use that verb with 3 different kind of person, okay? So now let's continue, guys. Now we have this part, which is simple sentences, okay? Give me a second. Yes, I like it like that. These simple sentences, guys, is pretty much like a complex, like a group of words that we have learned so far, but in a like more structured way, okay? This is something that you can do. Remember, guys, that all these bootcamp I have focused on you building these sentences, okay? So we have, guys, soy profesor, vivo en Colombia, trabajo online, estudio español. So something that I want you to do is try to change all these yo form for tú, okay? So it will be something like, okay, tú eres profesor, vives en Colombia, trabajas online, estudias español. Okay, so soy profesor, eres profesor, but now the one we're missing is él, ella, he, she. Es profesora, es profesor, vivo en Colombia, vives en Colombia, vive en Colombia. Trabajo online o trabajo por internet, both work. You can say online o por internet or en internet, both work. Por internet. Trabajo por internet, trabajas por internet, Ella trabaja por internet. Él trabaja por internet. Remember, guys, that with yo and tú, we don't necessarily like always need the yo or tú form. But usually when we're talking about like él, ella, because both of them share the same conjugation, if we are not in context, it is important to say like, oh, Laura trabaja en internet. Ella vive ta 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 ta. But after we both or all the people involved in the conversation know about what that trabaja conjugation works for in terms of él o ella, you can skip the pronoun, okay? So the last one is going to be estudio español, estudias español, estudia español, okay? So now, guys, we have mi rutina, we have como en casa, bebo café, voy al, is not gimnasio. If you make these mistakes, go ahead and check the very first video on my channel about like this live bootcamp, because I cover like more in detail like this kind of mistakes you can avoid, okay? So voy al gimnasio. Oh my god, give me a second, guys. Voy al gimnasio. Hago, remember the H is silent, hago ejercicio o hago ejercicios, both work. Because usually when we exercise, we make more than one exercise. And pretty much both are the same. Por ejemplo, I can say something like, voy al gimnasio todos los días, pero hago ejercicio en casa. I don't know, I'm just making this up. I go to the gym every day, but I exercise at home. I don't know, maybe I go to the gym just to do some cardio and I lift weight at home, okay? So in this case, again, guys, all you need to do is, all I want you to focus is on like, try to conjugate this verb, try to change these verbs like, yo como en casa, comes en casa, come en casa, bebo café, pero, but, tú bebes té. Ella bebe chocolate, por ejemplo. So in this case, you are going to be adding more and more words to the sentence in order for you to feel like more confident and focus on your output, okay? So the next one, guys, is going to be like hago ejercicio, haces ejercicio, hace ejercicio. Por ejemplo, yo hago ejercicio en la mañana, pero tú haces ejercicio en la noche. Mi amigo Carlos hace ejercicio en la tarde, okay? So just by using like one single verb, hacer ejercicio, to exercise, you use 3 different tenses to provide like 3 different kind of information about you, someone else, and myself. I mean, like myself, you, and someone else, okay? So now, guys, we finally have sentences that we can use to talk about my opinions, okay? So I have, guys, quiero aprender, I want to learn, quiero aprender español porque quiero vivir en Panamá. I want to learn Spanish because, porque I want to live in Canada. I want to live in Panama, okay? Quiero aprender español porque quiero vivir en Panamá, okay? So you are just not saying like, ¿aprendes español? Sí. You are actually saying why you want to learn Spanish, okay? The next one is going to be a very useful, guys. It's going to be puedo hablar un poco. I can speak a little. If someone is speaking like too fast, or if they think like you are super fluent in Spanish, this is something that you can say like, hablo español, pero puedo hablar un poco. Or you can even say like un poquito, which is like a little bit, okay? The next one, guys, is a very useful, and that one, and we have covered like this me gusta situation like a lot of times in these videos, and it's gonna be me gusta. Remember, guys, in Spanish, we always use the article, okay? Siempre, siempre, siempre. Me gusta el café, me gusta el chocolate, me gusta el té, me gustan las flores, me gustan los carros, okay? Always is going to be like this kind of sandwich situation about me gusta, I like. Remember, we never say yo gusta or yo me gusta. That makes no sense at all. And then it's going to be like the article and then whatever thing I'm talking about. Remember that this one is a little bit different because I'm talking about like something that pleases me, okay? And the last one, guys, is going to be no sé mucho, I don't know much, or I don't know a lot, okay? You can also say like, I don't know much about, sobre. Give me a second, let me type it right here. So, oh my God, what's going on? Give me a second. Sobre, about. No sé mucho sobre, okay? I don't know. No sé mucho sobre Canadá. I don't know much about Canada. No sé mucho sobre Rusia. I don't know much about Russia. So, just by using like this word, guys, like sobre, porque, pero, y, por, you can build longer sentences, okay? So that was pretty much for today's live, guys. This is pretty much what we cover. Talk about now. Remember, guys, that this video is focusing on present conjugation. Remember, guys, that yo always is going to be O ending. Yo cocino, yo trabajo, yo estudio, yo vivo. Tú always DS at the end. Tú cocinas, tú comes, tú estudias, tú trabajas. And then we have, when we're talking about third person, is like the no ending subject. Like cocina, no S, no O, is pretty much like I do this, but then I deleted it. Comes, but then I deleted it. Estudias, and then I get rid of the S, okay? Oh my God, what's going on? And then trabajas is tú, but if I get rid of the S, it's going to be for he, she, okay? Also, guys, remember this tip about the triangle. Like you take one verb and you conjugate it with yo, tú, usted, el, ella, yo, tú, usted, el, ella. And just by using one verb, you are gonna learn already how to use it in 3 different contexts. To talk about you, to talk about him or she or her, and to talk about like someone else, okay? So this is pretty much for live video, guys. The next day, this is what we're going to be covering. Talk about tomorrow. So it's going to be a little bit more about future. So thank you so much, guys, for being here. Remember that if you want to have this welcome session with me, you can go to lmmethod.com and you can find more information about my method, okay? You can find more information about my method, about me, about who I am, about what my students say. And also remember, guys, that if you book this welcome session, it's a one-on-one session. It's usually between 40 and 55 minutes. You are gonna have a 1-week study program in order for you to know like properly and with more structure what things you should improve if you want to take your Spanish to the next level, okay? So again, guys, thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to go ahead and follow me in all my socials. It's gonna be LM Method everywhere: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. So thank you so much, guys, again, and as always, ciao pescado. See you on Wednesday 8 p.m. Colombian time.